Welcome to Her Ink Empire. I'm Justine Almaraz, and this is the podcast that redefines what's possible for you in the tattoo industry and in your tattoo education, not only in technical skills, but in business. This show is for fine artists, creatives, visionaries, artists of all kinds, even doodlers, who are ready to not just build a career, but a legacy. Here we merge mastery, freedom, and creative power to surpass the outdated industry norms, the outdated rules, and step fully into our creative power and roles as leaders in our communities. If you've ever felt like there has to be a better way, a better option to learn tattooing, to earn in this industry, and to lead in tattooing, you're in the right place. So let's build your empire, one bold, daring step at a time. Let's dive in.
Thank you so much for joining me today and talking about your incredible apprenticeship journey and becoming a tattooer in record time. Thank you.
Of course. Happy to be here.
So, where are you at right now? Let's just dive into how you're feeling and thinking about being here. I'll take these off. At this point of your journey, and what you're excited about creating.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like right now, I feel like with any artistic career or path, there's always like the two sides to it, right? There's the business side of it and there's the artistic side. And I think for the artistic side of it, because I don't have, I've never had really a lot of formal training with art, and I've never before the tattoo apprenticeship have never like for a length of time sat down and like really explored like my style or like what it is that kind of naturally comes out of me artistically. And so the apprenticeship and the whole tattoo journey has really allowed me and forced that focus on the artistic style exploration and all of that. So, and it's been a cool thing to almost like an out of body experience to like watch myself kind of like, okay, this is what I used to do when, throughout the years, I've just kind of sat down and doodled a little bit, and like this is kind of the stuff that comes out of me, and how already in the short amount of time in the apprenticeship, how that has even changed. And then even now having these thoughts of like, oh, well, what if I did, like recently I was like, I had showed you, I found those little like, these like little flower petals, like just like outside, and they had really, like the veins were really sticking out and stuff. And I was like, that's such an interesting pattern. And then that got me thinking about like, okay, what could I do? What kind of tattoo designs could be made, like seeing things out in the world, and then also doing like minimal drawing, like obviously tattooing is a lot of drawing, but I'm like, could I just manipulate this image to make these really cool patterns and things like that? And so I feel like from the artistic side of it, I'm excited to kind of like, I have these ideas and I'm excited to kind of see where that goes and how that develops. Yeah, it's a weird thing to like watch your artistic style develop and not really know where it's going to go and not really have a plan and just kind of be open to the curiosity of like, oh, this is interesting. What would happen if I did that? In terms of the business side of it, it's also very interesting and like something that, we've talked about this before, something that you don't, which I think is something that you do in the apprenticeship, which is great, is like, hey, if you're going to be an artist, you are starting a business, you are running a business. And all of the stuff that comes with that, just like administratively, the communication, and then something like this where it is on you to put out into the world what it is you're doing, because like how are people going to know to come to you if you don't show them and you don't put it out there, which is not a supernatural thing for me to do. Like I'm not a big social media for all of that stuff. So kind of getting into the rhythm of that, getting more comfortable with that, getting more comfortable even in day-to-day life. People like, oh, what have you been up to? And be like, well, I'm tattooing now, and really putting that out there and all of that. So that's kind of where I think I'm at, building the clientele and all of that. yeah.
It's incredible to witness.
Thanks.
Your journey has been incredible. And the level of talent that you came with that you didn't recognize is profound, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know you came, well, let's share how this kind of came about. You tell the story, and let's kind of like rewind just a little bit more too of what your life has been like leading up to the point where you walked into the studio the first time.
Great. Okay, cool. Going back, when I was like a kid, like maybe not a kid. Well, yeah, kid, like when I was like more in high school and kind of that age, I was taking like the art classes that my high school offered, and and they were, optional, whatever, like elective things. But I was always in one every year, every semester. And even when my senior year, they do this little thing where each department will give students, they're not like really awards, but they're like recognition for work in certain departments. Each department did that. And I got one from the art department. And then when I got into college, I took one art class, but and then that was my freshman year. And then after that, it was very much okay, we're going into adulthood. It's time to get a degree in something useful, which I got in philosophy. So I don't know how useful it actually was, but and then go get a job and all of that. And I even remember having the thought when I was at the end of college, like, oh, I'm kind of excited to have a 9 to 5. I'm excited to really enter into adulthood and all of this stuff. And throughout that kind of college process, I didn't do any art whatsoever. I really bought into the narrative of the traditional, like, working adulthood life. And so I did that after I graduated college. I did a variety of things. I did do like a 9 to 5 for it lasted 3 months and really did not like that. And then series of events, I ended up being a teacher for a few years. And then my first kind of step back into the creative world was acting. I'm from LA, my dad was an actor. So it was something that had always tickled the back of my brain. And I think that was the first, but that wasn't until I was like mid-20s. That I kind of was like, oh, I should step back into this. And that was kind of the opening for, oh, I forgot that I was a creative person. I forgot that I did art when I was younger. I literally I didn't remember about that art recognition. I didn't from high school. I didn't remember. And then there was one day I was at home and my parents had pulled out, they were like, oh, you have this old massive folder of art stuff from high school. Do you want to keep, what do you want to do with it? And I was looking through it and I was like, whoa, it was a really weird, I had I was like, God, looking through it, I remember doing it, but I was like, God, I forgot that this existed. I had forgotten that that part of me existed. It was a really weird, yeah.
Wait, Alex, what do you think caused that, that block of memory?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think it has something to do with, for whatever reason, and I don't remember being explicitly taught this narrative of being an artist is not sustainable and it's not a career and it's not blah, 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 blah. But it very clearly was a lesson that I learned and internalized. I think that's where it came from. And I don't come from an artistic family, really.
Except that your dad's an actor.
I know my dad's an actor, but it was a weird once he had kids, he was more of a stay-at-home dad, and he didn't he wouldn't. I don't think he would self-identify as an artist. Yeah, he acted, but yeah, I don't think he would self-claim artist. So there's that. So yeah, I think I just, for whatever reason, really drank the Kool-Aid and was like, yeah, art is not sustainable. It doesn't make sense. It's whatever. And yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I ask that too because I know so many people have this block too. And it's, for you, it wasn't a trauma thing. It doesn't sound
right.
like it was nothing bad happened that like
Yeah.
hurt your soul, your creative soul, which is really interesting also actually because of your journey and how it was fairly an easy to some extent, I think, like fall into back, like fall back in love with
Yes.
creating and bring that forth. And there was an ease I witnessed in you
Yeah.
in allowing this to flow from you. And
Yeah.
that doesn't actually always, not everyone has that ease, which
Yeah.
is fine, you know, and there's just like other work that you can do to help create that ease. But that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I
It's like
think
shoved down.
yeah, and I think for a long time though I felt, and I feel like this still sometimes is like I can feel something in like the art, I guess the artist in me that like, or not even like the art in me wants to come out. And I felt like that for a long time, but it was like and I'm still learning how to like, because I think it is scared, you know, like I think it's like, because being an artist is a very vulnerable thing. And so the like I'll feel like, okay, I want to sit down and draw something, like there's clearly something in here that wants to get out, but a lot of times I'll sit down to do it, and then it's suddenly like it's like it gets scared and it like goes and hides in a corner and it won't come out, you know. But I can feel it wanting to, and I think yeah, whatever that, again, yeah, that narrative of like of it not being okay sort of, I think is something that I'm still like intellectually, obviously I understand, but I think like in my body is something that needs it, like I need to treat it gently and like be like it's okay. And a lot of times too I have to do, it's almost like I need to do these kind of mental tricks of like, okay, there's something that wants to come out. I'm not going to sit down and do it right now, but I'm going to kind of tease it and kind of think about it for the next couple of days, and then, you know, maybe in like a week I'll kind of, it'll be ready to come out. And yeah, and again, I think once the tattooing, so that was kind of where I was at, right? Was this kind of block, and then the acting kind of opened the door a little bit, and then it was like that little window in where I was like, okay, and I was starting, and that's when I started to like draw again, and I was like doodling on my iPad and like all of this stuff.
And how long ago was that? Because,
Probably-
go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say probably 2020, because 2020,
Okay.
the beginning of 2020 was when I was like the start of my acting career journey thing, was right before the pandemic. And I honestly don't remember, I don't even remember how long I've had my iPad. I think it's an old iPad, so I can't remember if I started drawing on it before that. But I just remember the acting thing, 2020 was like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a creative person, was that at that moment. And I still, and it's like so funny, I have like under my bed and like all these like, I have so much art stuff. Like I have so many canvases, like blank canvases or like half painted on canvases, and like paintbrushes and pencils and sketchbook, like all this stuff that it's like such a weird, I feel dumb almost sometimes being like, how did you not like see this before, like this, yeah, this real suppression that I did. But yeah, so 2020, I think, yeah, it was really kind of the start of it. And then, yeah, I would, again, doodle on and off. I'd like maybe sit down one day and then I wouldn't do it for like a month. You know, I just kind of, it was an every once in a while, if something struck me, I would sit down. And then, it's 2025. So I got like 5 years of that. And then.
And we started working together in basically beginning of March of 25.
Yeah, right. And that was from Sammy. I saw she was doing her apprenticeship tattoos, and I got my little, she was doing her free ones, and I was like, well, I loved her work and everything, and I knew the studio and you obviously, so I was like, yes please. And so, and then met you, and we were just talking, and then you were very kind to let me come back and pick your brain like later that week, I think. Yeah, and we sat and chatted, I think, for like a good like 2 hours or something like that. And I think that conversation was a very pivotal moment for me, because I had never had someone, I didn't really show people my art to begin with. And so I don't think I'd given anyone the opportunity to like support it, you know? And I had never had someone then look at it and be like, Oh, and I remember you said you looked at it and you're like, oh, you could be a tattoo artist right now. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What?
Yes, because the way you were describing your work was very, 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 very amateur, and what I saw was very, very, very professional and highly
Yeah.
technical.
Well, but that's how I thought of it. I thought of it as myself as like an amateur. Yeah, I wouldn't even claim art. Like even now I'm like, okay, I have to like train my brain and my ears to like, oh yes, I'm an artist. Like that's still almost like it still sounds kind of weird to me, you know?
Do you remember the kind of art you said that you made? What you
No.
called yourself? Well, you would say, "Oh, I just doodle. Like these are just doodles. That's all this is. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doodling."
Yeah. You're right. I didn't even call it. I don't sit down and draw.
No.
I just doodle everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that sounds like over the course of the past few months, you've changed that
yeah,
way of
100%.
describing it.
Yeah, I think my doodles have graduated to to drawings and more art rather than just doodles. But yeah, that was kind of and then it was fast. It was fast, and I think the other thing too is like I'm a structure kind of person, and I think my creativeness thrives within structure. Like if I have too much freedom, I find it overwhelming, and I think that also doesn't help my creative exploration. So the structure of not only the apprenticeship, but the structure of like, for example, creating a custom piece, of being given parameters within which to create opens me creatively. And so that's also something about tattooing that is so fun, that I love. And like you are restricted to the body, you're restricted to a certain part, you're restricted to the client's, you know, kind of what they're envisioning, and then marrying that with what you're envisioning in your style and your art. Like those structure, I feel like oftentimes structure can be mistaken for being kind of oppressive and stuff, but in reality I think structure is a good thing. I think it allows more exploration than just like doing, you know.
So true. Alex, let's go back to where you were. We're looking at your art and you're thinking about, like, should I do this? Can I do this? Because I think this is where a lot of people are really like stuck on this edge, on the fence. Like, can I even do this? Can I even become a tattooer? So what was that like for you in that moment of like, what kind of settled in for you to help you feel like, yes, I can do this?
That's a great question. I think after that conversation, when I came back and talked to you, was the first, because when I was getting the tattoo, we chatted a little bit, and it was cool to see Sammy seeing an apprentice and watching the teaching process a little bit with you there and everything. And I think that was the first kind of nugget of like, almost like, I feel like sometimes I would like artist I put on a pedestal, and it's like something that these artists, they do this really difficult, amazing thing, but I could never do that. I'm just a person. I'm just Alex. I could never, you know. So seeing that with you and Sammy when I got that tattoo, that was the first like, oh, it sounds silly, but I'm like, oh, they're also just people. You know, they're doing this. She's just a person, and she's just learning, and she's new, and look at this incredible thing. Look at this incredible piece of art that I have on my body now. And then the conversation. So that was the first like, oh, I guess it's doable. I see it being done. Like seeing it being done, I think was big. And then, that conversation then became that, and seeing it on me. You saying like, oh, this could be a tattoo. This could, and I remember taking, I don't know, it was maybe like after that conversation, I can't remember, at least like a week or 2 weeks or something. It wasn't that long, but it was a couple weeks, I think, at least, that I thought about it. And it took a little while for me to see it, maybe like fully see it. But I think that those two initial experiences with you planted the nugget of being able to do it. And I think what also was a big thing was seeing the path. Was seeing I have my doodles, and they could be on a person, and there's a step 1, there's a step 2, there's a step 3, Yeah, was a big part of it too, the clarity of the career journey and everything. I think a lot of it too is just like it's a little bit like you just gotta do it. And like being okay with, again, I think it's like the curiosity of like, what if I do this and what if I don't? I think there's also a certain amount of like the fear there. My fear of regret became greater than my fear of failure. I think that has been a big journey with my artistry in general. Becoming an artist was like, if I think it is scary. I think being an artist is, you have to be such a brave person, because there is a great chance of failure, and you're gonna fail constantly regardless. Like, it's just comes with the territory. You know what I mean? Like, it comes with running your own business. It comes with being a creative. But would you rather fail a million times and like still be on this incredible journey, or not do it at all and regret not doing it at all? So yeah, I think it was a kind of a slow burn. I don't know if there was like a real specific moment that was like, aha. It took me marinating for a little bit and just getting there and being like, no, why not? Why not try it? Why not? And see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now that you're complete, and you're working as a professional tattooer, and it is, you finished in May, and now it's June. So you're still fresh, but you're making money, and you're building a clientele, and you're only tattooing what you want in your style. Like, can we just celebrate that? That's so cool.
It is mind-blowing to have people reach out and be like, wow, this really spoke to me. Like, that is still like, I don't know if that's something I'll ever, like sometimes I'm like, are you sure you want my art on your body permanently? Like, okay. Like,
I still feel that way, so I think that's good.
Yeah, it's a crazy, and it's such a like, and I feel like it is like such a unique like medium in that way, because like, it's like you paint a picture, like maybe you're commissioned for something, but like I feel like tattooing, you get to see real time. They are part of the process. Even if it's a design you've pre-made, they're part of the process, putting it on, the placement, the whatever, and then they're there for the entire creation of this thing for them on their body. Like, it's such an incredible art form, and collaborative, and like seeing your clients, they get to see the process and they get to be a part of it, and like, yeah, it's so much different than like, yeah, painting, okay, here you go, oh cool, yeah, you might really like it, but then it's like, there's minimal kind of interaction there. So yeah, it's very cool.
Oh, I love hearing you talk about it. You are very good at speaking about the creative process, so I want to go into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I have this one day you told me about your creative day. Like, it was a day off in the middle of your apprenticeship, because we have a couple days off in those times, like to integrate work. And you had this really beautiful way of describing your creative process. So I want to go into that. But right before we do that, I want to ask you, for coming back to that moment you were just describing, what would you tell someone who's feeling that way right now? They're on the fence. They're nervous. They don't know if they can do it. And they're curious about joining my accelerated apprenticeship extensive experience, whatever, What would you tell them?
Do it. Do it. I think there's, like, you gotta bet on yourself. Like, you can have a support team. You can have the best support team. And I feel like I really do have a great support team with you and the other, apprentices, and like, friends and family and everything has been really supportive. But I don't think that matters if you're not rooting for yourself, So I think, like, and it's scary, but you gotta do things scared. You just gotta do it. I think that's all there is to it. You got to jump into I feel like it's it's like such a cliche thing to say. And it's like, and to be honest, I don't know a few years ago, even if now me went back to me a few years ago and said just do it, I don't know that I would have. You know, I think you need to be in a place where you're ready to face it with the fear and be okay with that and just do it. And if you're not ready for it right now, that's fine. But I think it is one of those things that it's one of, I read some random thing at some point in my life that was like, if it's still a thing in your brain, like years later or like whatever it is, but if it's still back there, when are you going to do something about it? Or are you just going to let that little thing just keep festering and festering and festering? And it might take a few years to like to allow yourself to acknowledge it and do something about it. But I think there is a certain amount of, you need to recognize when you're ready to acknowledge it. Yeah. And I think when you're at that point, when you're ready to do the thing, and when because you're going to be scared no matter, like there's never going to be a point where you're like, I'm good, I can do it, like I'm ready, I have no fear in my heart, I can just go and do it now. Like that, I don't think that exists for anybody. But when you feel ready to do it scared, then I think when you get comfortable with the fear, that's when just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Thanks. I think that will help a lot of people.
Yeah.
In lots of different areas of their lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Fear's a weird thing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's come to your that day you're creating. You kind of touched on it in the beginning when you're talking about like kind of catching the idea, also letting it be, and letting it dances around you, and then you get shy with it. But you were creating so that you could evolve your style and develop a new collection of work in a new style that felt more connected to you. Can you share what that process was like? What did that day feel like? That moment where you're creating feel like? And you're really trying to access something fresh and new. Develop something new.
Yeah.
Go.
Yes. Okay. I think one trick that I found for myself when I am ready to sit down and like create is this weird separation I do, that obviously I'm making the art. Like I'm sitting down, I'm drawing, I'm making it. But when I'm doing that, I don't feel like I'm making it. I feel like I'm discovering something that's already existing, and I'm just looking for it. And it happens to be coming out of these motions that my arm is doing onto the iPad or onto a piece of paper or canvas or whatever. But to me, it's more of a discovery, and it's more of a, like, I'll literally, like, I'll be drawing something, and because it's like, when do you know when you're done with a thing? Like, when is the design done? And I'll do it, and I'll kind of step back, and I'm like, are you, like, I'll talk to it like a third person. Then I'm like, are you done? Like, is this what you want to be? And, you kind of let it, and maybe that question might not be answered immediately. It might take a day or two, or however long, but it's not, am I done with it? I'm like, is this what you wanted to be? Are you complete? That's really helped me. And again, with that, the curiosity of not only like what happens if I do this, and the playtime I think is really important, the curiosity and the playtime and all of that, where you can make and be okay with making bad art, because you're going to make a lot of bad art, right? And just to like see what is going to come out of you. But yeah, when I'm kind of sitting down, I'm like, no, this is something. I've got something here, and I can tell that this wants to be a thing. It feels more like, I feel like art is in itself, whatever form of art it is like a service that we're providing for like the world and people and everything. And I think thinking about it like that really helps me. I think it helps take ego out of it. I think it helps take it makes it not about me. And when it's not, and I'm the kind of like, it's easier for me to like take care of someone else and like do it for someone else. And so when I kind of remove myself from it and like, okay, what is it you want to be? I'm doing this for you. It is something that it's an outward thing as opposed to more of an inward thing. That helps a lot, and that helps get the juices flowing too. You know, I'll be working on one thing and then I'm like, oh, and then I'll have an idea for another thing. I have to like, okay, now I'm going to start this, and I'm often working on multiple, you know, kind of designs at once, because it's just when you kind of get in that rhythm and that flow, it's just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And I'll be like, I'm one of those people where like I'll get in it and time doesn't exist. My experience of time is like, bleh, you know, and suddenly you've got all these designs, and like, yeah, it's a really cool, but yeah, that kind of separation and the doing it for not you, I think helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love your creative. The way you're very good at articulating that creative process, which can feel very vague.
Yes.
You know, in the moments of it. So
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like I've thought about it a lot because of that. Because for me too, when you're kind of stuck, it's helpful for me to kind of make mental notes when things are flowing. About, okay, how did I get to this point? Like, what are little tricks I can do to help myself kind of get into that creative flow and all of that. So the process, yeah.
Your brain is so intriguing to me because you have such interesting backgrounds. Like through philosophy, you're a mathematician, you're an actor, you grew up as a dancer, and now you're tattooing. So there's this really like precise analytical side of you that makes you a good tattooer. Then you also have a very like a philosopher makes a good artist too, because you're a deep thinker. And then that technical mathematical side of you is helping you develop these really beautiful designs, like the mandala pieces, or the flow is like there's so much symbolic meaning in the types of designs you're creating. So the more flowy ones seem to be representing this more creative aspect of you, while still maintaining like order and precision, you know? Yeah. Which also then connects to your dancer side, I think, you know?
Yeah. I think that again comes back to, for any artist, the curiosity of like, because what's coming out of you is all of these different aspects of you. And I think it's also like, it's a hard thing to sit down and like not judge what you're doing, like judge your art as you're making it, which I struggle with 100%. But I think even if you're wanting to go a layer deeper, is not like judging the parts of you that are coming out into your art, you know? Because I think ultimately, if you're judging your art, either you're trying to like maybe replicate something that's not actually you. It's something that like, oh, that was good, and you've like assigned this value to something else, and you're like, I want to be good, so I'm going to try and replicate this thing that I deem good. Or you're judging something that's coming out of you because there's a certain aspect of yourself that you don't like, that, and that's where the vulnerability comes in, right? Like you're really like laying yourself out there to the world when you do art. And I think, yeah, you need to be true to who you are and not judge yourself. And I think that's why I think art is so therapeutic and everything, right? Like it really forces you to like look at the world, look at yourself, and like, again, you just got to be curious. I think that's the biggest thing it's just the curiosity of like what's coming out of you, and and all the little aspects of yourself and all that.
What has tattooing added to your life?
Like, it's a hard question to answer because like so much. I think, I mean, I touched on this a little bit, but I think it's allowed me the freedom to explore my own art, and it's like, you know what I think the biggest thing that it's given me is like permission to like be an artist. I think is maybe, if all the things in my brain that I can't quite articulate. I think maybe that is kind of what is the best way I can encompass all of the things in my brain, is that it's somehow given me permission to become an artist and to be an artist and to like as a career and like share it with the world, which is a very cool thing.
So you're going to stick with it?
Yeah, I think so.
What are your plans? What are you feeling like? What's the next step for you?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I think I'm just right now, I think very much in the exploration, curiosity stage, having like being so new to it in both the art side and the business side of it, doing what like feels right, you know, like putting out into the world what feels right, creating what kind of feels right to me and aligns with my values and my personality and like all of that, and just continuing to put it out there and let's see who comes, like who does it resonate with. And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just, it's like I've done the work, like I, you know, the apprenticeship and the intensiveness and like all of that. And now I'm like, okay, I can breathe for a second and I have some time to do the exploration. It's like I have the skills now, I have the technique. Now it's about exploring and putting it out there. That's where I'm at.
Cool. What do you love about it the most?
The most? What I love about it the most is how personal it is to like both the artist and the client. I think that's what I find like so beautiful about it, is to use kind of your words, is the sacredness of it. Like when you're like creating a piece that means something to someone, like it's no small thing to get like something permanently done to your body. Like like the magnitude of it every time I do it is quite like, wow, you know. And I think and it's so funny because, you know, I'm such an introverted, like if I don't have to leave my house, I won't. But that connection with this person, this new person you've never met, they resonated with your art and now you're putting it on them, hearing their story. Even like let's say hypothetically you do a tattoo session without really even speaking to the other person, you're still communicating through this art, and like that connection in itself, it doesn't need words, you know. And I think that's what I love most about it, is people who are choosing to come to you to get this thing again permanently on your body, which I don't think I'll ever not find that mind-blowing, is such a beautiful thing. To have that person pick you and trust you to do this crazy thing to them is no small thing. And I think that's like, that is incredible and so beautiful. And like, yeah, I think that's probably my favorite part of it.
Mm-hmm. It is a profound experience to be able to do that. It really and feel like trusted enough to be able to do that, you know? Yes. And I think it's pretty amazing that you plowed through, like our program it's hybrid, right? So you plowed through the lesson section of that with fury, and and then came into the studio and plowed through your intensive in-person trainings, and where like that transformation to witness to, for me, is extraordinary to see in you, and how great you are with your clients, and how you're able to translate their designs so beautifully and give them something they're so in love with, and they're really cherishing your work. And it's something that you're really putting your heart and soul into each piece and each person and each experience, and you're for what I can see too, is getting equally energetically compensated for that at a premium level. Is so cool, you know. Yeah that energetic exchange is equal.
Yeah That's very cool.
That's what I love. I love watching and being a part of that transformation. So thank you for trusting me, Alex.
I will say it till the day I die, but this is like, I mean, this whole your apprentice, the conversation with you, like literally pivotal moment in my life, like changed my life. Like, even I'm tattooing, I'm not stepping away from that. But even if, for whatever reason, if I did step away from it, this entire experience for me personally, and the little artist that was hiding inside of me, like, she's not gonna hide anymore, like, she's like, and she's still a little shy sometimes, which is okay, but she's learning how to come out and be again. I think it's a very similar thing to like kind of rediscovering and allowing your inner child to like come out as an adult. Like, that's such a journey, and everyone should go on that journey, because it is something that's very oftentimes in our world not encouraged. But this whole process has just like, she's out now, and she's not gonna, she's not hiding anymore. Like, she's here to stay. And I think like that for me, like, yeah, has, like, that alone is just like such, I'm so grateful to you for letting her, for like giving her the safe space to be again, and to feel seen, and to yeah, feel safe to come out and play. And so, yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. I adored going on this journey with you. And I adore you. And so thank you for making it such a beautiful experience, Alex. Thank you so much for sharing your story and hope with everyone too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm it was fun to talk about. It's fun to, I think sharing these kind of journeys and stories and experiences are really important, because there's no one way to do it. There's no one path. So hearing everyone's different things is really cool. There is no one right way to do it.
Right.
You gotta do it. You just gotta do it. Be scared and do it.
Yes. Love that. Alex, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to see your work or get booked for a tattoo with you?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's Alex H Tattoos. Or if you're not a social media person, which I'm learning to be, you can email me at tattoos@alexandrahusmann.com. Yeah.
1 S, 2 N's.
1 S, 2 N's, yes. Yeah, I know the name is long.
It was easy to say.
Yeah.
Mine's a little challenging.
Yeah.
All Mariah's.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Alex. Thank you. So excited to see your work, evolve to the next level and where you go from here. So thank you.
Me too.
Thank you so much for listening and being a part of Her Ink Empire. Remember, this is only the beginning. Your empire is already unfolding. Until next time, stay bold, stay aligned, and stay true to you as you build your artistic legacy.